Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Mackenzie. I teach 3rd grade in Northern California. In today's video, I am sharing 10 of my favorite tips and tricks when using Google Docs as a teacher. I really want to highlight features that I have found helpful for both me and my students, whether it is to save time, increase student engagement, or just being able to support my students as they are working on Google Docs assignments. Now, before we get started, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. That's really one of the best ways to support TeacherFYI. Now let's go ahead, open up Google Docs and jump right into it. My first trick is a fun one, and that is to insert emojis into Google Docs. So just as you would with social media, with all of the different reaction buttons, those can now be used in Google Docs. So I see this as being a great engagement tool and also a fun way to provide feedback to your students. To use this feature, you will highlight the section to react, insert emoji reaction, and select the emoji you want. So I could see this as a great engagement tool as students are peer editing each other's work on Google Docs. Then they can go in and give reactions to their classmates, or just a fun way to add a little touch to the feedback comments that you give to your students. I could also see this helpful when teaching annotating skills. So if students have an article that is on Google Docs, then they can actually highlight and star key information, a part that they found surprising, maybe just highlight their favorite part of an article. So it is a great engagement tool for your students when using Google Docs. My next tip is to insert checkboxes. So now these checkboxes are clickable, so when you check them off, they're going to cross off that list item. So when making a list in Google Docs, you can now add these clickable checkboxes. So if I have a list here, I'm going to insert checkboxes, and watch as I click each item, it's going to now cross off the item on the list. This is useful for personal checklists, but I could also see this being very useful for students. For example, if students are working on an essay and you have specific writing criteria that they need to include in that essay, you can include that writing criteria directly on their assignment. And then as students are working on their writing piece, as they finish each of those criteria, they can go in and check it off. I have found it very beneficial to provide my students with the rubrics or with the writing criteria as they are working on an essay. That way students can take more ownership over their writing and be held more accountable for what needs to be included in their essay. My next trick is layering images. This way you can add multiple images, you can insert text over images. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So I'm going to insert an image here, and then there are going to be multiple options to what you can do with that image and how you want it to be formatted within the text. So you can keep the image in line. You could wrap the text, and the text will just simply wrap all around the image no matter where you move it. Now these last two are the little tricks that I have found really helpful for both me and my students. The image behind the text, so that's going to place the image behind the text, so you could actually have text on top of that image. You can have that image locked in place on the doc, or if you want to move it with the text on the page, you can select that here. Or you can place the image in front of the text. So that would place the image right in front of all of your writing, so you wouldn't really be able to read what is behind it. So those last two features have just made it a lot easier to insert multiple images if you need to maybe overlap images, or place that text on top of an image if your students are working on a project or maybe a collage. It's making the formatting a lot smoother. Voice typing is one of my favorite features in Google Docs and has been so helpful for my students. So in Google Docs, you go to Tools and select Voice Typing. Now the microphone is going to pop up, and then it's just going to type out exactly what you say, as long as you're speaking in a very clear voice. Now when using voice typing, you do need to make sure that you are saying the punctuation. So if you want to put a period, you have to say period, exclamation point, question mark. And so actually teaching your students those skills if they are using voice typing. So voice typing is such a helpful tool. It is something I have found really has helped my students gain confidence in their writing skills. I specifically use this with students who are a little more reluctant to write or need that extra support getting their ideas down on paper. And I have just really seen an increase in confidence and see that they really can be an amazing writer. Tip number 5 is to use pageless docs. Notice right here, you can clearly see when a new page ends and the next one begins. So you can make your doc pageless, which makes one long page. So to do this, you'll go to File, Page Setup, and then you have the option to select Pages or Pageless. There are, of course, many reasons why you might want to use a pageless doc. One reason might be if you have a really large image and you don't want it to be cut off, or when inserting tables, sometimes they get cut off if they are at the end of the first page going on to the second page. So by making it pageless, then you can clearly see your whole table. My next trick is to use the table templates that are now in Google Docs. So now there are multiple table templates that you can use. So go up to Insert, select table templates, and now you don't have to completely start from scratch depending on what type of table you're making. So you can edit the titles of the columns, and then there's already a drop-down menu that you can edit if you need to. So these templates can be a really great way to save you some time. So my next tip is to use drop-down menus. So I just pointed these out in the table templates, but now you can actually insert and create your own. So you don't need to add a table to add a drop-down menu, but I do feel like that's the most common way these are used. So I have this table here, and I want to just add a drop-down menu to show their grade as not meeting, approaching, or meeting grade level expectation. So there are already some preset drop-down templates that I could choose from, but I do want to make my own. So it's super easy. I can just place the 3 levels that I want and each corresponding color. So now as I enter student grades, I can just select from the drop-down menu instead of writing it out each time, and it's color-coded. I do mention drop-down menus in my Google Sheets video. I just think they're such a great way to stay organized with student data and can save you some time. My next tip is to add smart chips into your docs. So this is a direct link to a person, a file, a calendar event, or even a place. So if I am referring to another file within my document, it makes it really easy to add a direct link to maybe that Google slide presentation. I would just click the @ symbol and then select the file that I want to link to. It's also an easy way to mention someone with their email. So if I type out @TeacherFYI, I can select it, and then it would automatically link that contact information for that person. It won't automatically share that document with them. It's just putting in their contact. You can also add events by linking a date and a location, and then the place would actually be linked to Google Maps. So overall, smart chips are a really easy way to just link different items within your Google Doc. So my last 2 tips are very Google Classroom specific. So Google Classroom is a great tool to use to assign your students work. So then you actually have access to all of their Google Doc assignments, and then you can go in and add comments and add feedback. So this trick is to make a comment bank. That way, when you go into your students' assignments, you already have a comment bank filled with suggestions and feedback that you can give to your students. I know one of the most time-consuming parts about being a teacher is all the grading. And of course, we really want to give specific and meaningful feedback to our students. And so making a comment bank can actually save you a lot of time because you'll already have very specific comments that you can give as feedback to your students. So when you open up a student assignment in Docs, you can select this little message icon for your comment bank. Then you can add as many comments as you like. Then when you highlight a piece of your student's work, you can select a comment that fits, or you can add a new comment and save that new comment to the comment bank so then you can use it again if you need to. I have found this has saved me so much time in providing very specific and meaningful feedback to student work. This is definitely one of my favorite teacher hacks on Google Classroom, is to use that comment bank to save you time when grading. My last trick is very similar to the comment bank. It's another way to add feedback to your students' work in Google Docs. So that is to use the Moat Chrome extension. Now, I definitely mention this Chrome extension a lot, and it's for a good reason. I think this tool is just such an easy way to add voice notes to student assignments within Google Classroom. So once you have downloaded the Chrome extension, when you open up a student assignment in Google Docs, you see this little purple M button, and that is going to be a voice recorder. So you can just click it and then record your comment and feedback that you want to give to your students on that assignment, and then it will be there for your students to actually listen to your feedback. I think there is something so special and powerful about actually hearing their teacher say a comment or give feedback to them, and it also helps you out if you have maybe a lot to say and you don't want to type it all out. Then you can just say it and it will be there ready for your students to listen to. This could even work if you want to leave an encouraging note for a student, especially if it is a student who maybe still needs some support with reading and they can hear your voice and hear your support. As always, thank you so much for watching. Those are 10 of my favorite tips and tricks for Google Docs. If you did find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for all my newest teacher tips, and I'll catch you next time. Bye everyone.